Hi everyone, welcome if you are a new subscriber, and if you are a returning subscriber, I am so happy that you are here with me again. In my last video, I talked about how I was relocating to a new state. I am in my new place. I apologize about the plain, boring white wall, but that's kind of what I have to work with today. So hopefully the next video will be a little bit more visually interesting. Today I wanted to talk about healing the inner child. I have done other videos about this topic before, and it's one that I love talking about. I love working with my own clients on this, and I do my own inner child work as well. Healing the inner child is so important. Now I know sometimes when you tell people who are doing this kind of inner work, and you say, okay, we're going to do some inner child work, and they may think, oh, okay, shoot, this is going to be tough, this is going to be painful. It's almost like if I tell a personal training client, let's do some ab work, and they're like, oh, I'm like, no, ab work is great. I love doing abs. Don't you love doing abs? Okay. Just trying to add a little bit of levity. But the reason why I love doing inner child work and helping others through theirs is because inner child work gets to the root. It gets to the time when trauma was born within us. And when we uncover that root and we go right to the source, we're not dealing with a symptom, but we're dealing with the real reason of why we have a behavior today that is limiting us and slowing us down and getting in our way. That is what allows us to move forward and to grow. And I'm sorry, I just realized I forgot the other part of my introduction. My name is Renee, and I'm an intuitive healer. I'm a medium, and I'm available for coaching sessions, energy healing, long distance, and please check out my website, reneemillman.com, for answers to frequently asked questions and to book a session if that's what you feel moved to do. Now, getting back to the inner child work. Okay, so one of the ways that we can do inner child work is through our meditations. We can, if we're just sitting quietly doing some meditation, we can invite our inner child to come in, or she or he may just pop up and make their presence known and invite you to hold them in your space, to hold them in a loving presence and in a loving, nurturing, energetic field. That's one way. It may just happen without you trying. They may just come into your field of awareness. Or when we're, like I said, when we're sitting in our meditation, we can invite our inner child to come in and talk to our inner child. So as you're sitting in your meditation, you may begin to kind of focus on that little version of you, the little girl or the little boy, and ask him or her, what do you need? What do you need attention or nurturing to? What part of you? What is the part that needs to be healed? What needs your caretaking? When I talk about doing inner child work, that doesn't mean that we want to become childish. It really means to go back or tap into and connect to the childlike part of us, the part that is free and open and a free thinker that thinks that anything is possible. Just like when you were little and you wanted to do and be anything. You had no restrictions, no restraints. And then maybe some things happened along the way where you learned that you weren't good enough, or that you weren't capable, or you were told that your idea was stupid, or how dare you think that, or in our family we don't do that, or maybe you were neglected, maybe you were abused. So whatever it was, whether it was ongoing trauma that you went through, or maybe it was one or several incidences that taught you that you needed to kind of dim your light, retreat back into yourself, and go along with whatever was acceptable in that family system or in your cultural society, and to be that instead. What we want to do when we do inner child work is to heal, like I said, going back to the root, back when that trauma was born. Because when we go back to when we have a trauma happen in our life, if we don't heal that, our growth stops at the point of that trauma, And it will continue that way throughout our lives. So we may find decades go by, we're in our middle age or maybe older in life, and we still care what other people think of us. Or we are still scared, so scared that we never try anything new. We never change our lives because we're afraid of failing. We maybe, keep accepting bad relationships and go from one bad relationship into another because we haven't gone to the root and healed that part of us. This is why inner child work is so important. It'll take us right back to that point where we can finally say, aha, and get right to the source. Another way that we can heal our inner child is through tapping. I have done some other tapping videos on healing the inner child. And let me tell you, I know from my own experience when I've done my own inner child work and when I've worked with my clients, many times tears come up to the surface. So let's say if you are doing some tapping about healing your inner child, maybe it's approval that you wanted, or maybe you were neglected and your parents kind of taught you that you were supposed to be around, but you should be seen and not heard. Or maybe you grew up with narcissistic parents. You had to exist as an extension of your parents, and you couldn't have a self. You couldn't have needs. You learned to never acknowledge or even get to know what your needs are, let alone to take care of them. And all of this creates problems in your relationships, in your marriage, in your work, and in your life down the road. So if we are tapping, what we can do is to get in touch with whatever that specific issue is. We can tap and say to our inner child that we now give her or give him the love that she always needed, that we accept her for who she is, that we love her for who she is, that she did not deserve the pain and the trauma that she endured, that she did not, or he did not, is just fine who she is, who he is, without having to change anything. And that you will be there for your inner child right now. And one of the ways that you can show in your daily life how you accept that part of you and how you nurture your inner child and accept her or him into your daily life is by when you're confronted with these situations where you start to feel yourself go back into that old programming, is say, no, it's okay. I am okay. I'm good enough. I am here. I am accepting and loving that child part of me. And I'm not going to go back into that pain. That's what I did when that trauma happened. That's what I did when the pain happened. And I don't need to go there again. This requires effort, conscientiousness, and awareness that we are going back into that old pattern. When we start to see ourselves go back into that same worn out behavior of maybe you're afraid, you don't want to deal with something, so you go back into, I'm going to just avoid this. I'm not going to deal with it. Nope, it's not in my reality now, so I'm just going to avoid it. I'm just not going to deal with it. Or maybe it's going back into the idea that no one likes me, no one ever liked me, no one supported me, so I'm just going to go retreat into myself and hide in my house and watch TV for hours and hours. Whatever that coping mechanism is, when we start to stand up to that and we say, no, that is not true. That is not my truth anymore. I'm allowing myself to heal. I'm allowing this pain to come up and be felt and expressed. When we include our inner child, whether in our meditation, whether it's throughout our day, whether it's, during our tapping or in a coaching session, what we do is we allow ourselves to feel that. We don't suppress it. We don't bury it. We allow ourselves to feel it. Cry it out if you need. That's good, because when we cry, we are feeling our feelings. Not that that's the only way. It's just one very, very good way. And if the tears come up, let them come out. You finally let yourself feel. And then once we feel it, we can move through it and move past it. The biggest step is awareness. Just like what they say in healing from an addiction. The biggest and most important, most crucial step is awareness of the issue, awareness of here's how and when this was born, and here's now how I am acting it out in my life and how I can now change it and do something different. So I'm just going to leave you with that message and that encouragement. Incorporate and love your inner child. Heal those parts of your child that got wounded. The inner child is the wound. It carries the wounds that we have, that trauma, and we can heal that. And we don't have to carry it for the rest of our lives. We don't have to be 40, 50, 60, 70 and still be carrying that pain. We can be free of it. It's my encouragement that you bravely and courageously go into that go into that space and to do that work. Please check out my tapping videos that I have done on healing the inner child also. And please feel free to reach out to me if you would like to schedule a session to do this kind of healing work. I schedule sessions over the phone. So I will put information to all of that below the video. Thank you for being brave and courageous in doing this very important inner work. Thank you again for working on yourself and coming along on this journey. And I'll talk to you soon.